Hi, my name is Dhawal Shah. I'm the Regional Managing Director of 2Stallions Digital Marketing Agency, and essentially I lead the entire team in terms of the operational aspects as well as leading the sales team. So in terms of what our agency does, we are a full service agency, so we do development projects on mobile as well as web, and we help a lot of our clients with their digital marketing portions, especially performance marketing, including programmatic, content marketing, social media marketing, as well as marketing automation. Well, 2023 is going to be a pretty difficult year in terms of where the economy is headed right now. But in terms of being brave from a marketing perspective, I think there need to be a lot of hard decisions that people need to make. For example, moving away from third-party data towards first-party. So the making use of your data, trying to align all of your different data points together. So getting your buy-in from all of your different stakeholders into a CDP, making sure that all of your data is aligned, making use of first-party data and moving towards collecting more zero-party data. I think that's what brave is going to be, because a lot of opposition is going to come from board level for this sort of things for brands, because at the end of the day, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but they don't know that broke's going to be there sooner than they expect. I believe that this question isn't really a matter of power, because at the end of the day, it's an ecosystem. So publishers sure will have a lot more first party data. By the end of the day, what they like is the ease with which people can buy ads on their platform, right? And that's what programmatic DSPs provide. So from that perspective, as a publisher, even if first party data becomes more prevalent, I'm still going to be making sure that all of these sales of my ad space happens through this DSP, so that I can essentially take it easy in terms of how well my revenue is going. So the other challenge I do see is maybe the ad prices might go up, because of course as a publisher you know that your data is now more important. So from that perspective, you can expect maybe an increase in the price that you pay. By the end of the day, the quality will also increase, which means that your results will hopefully be much better than they are currently with the third party that is being used. So between data-driven and data-informed marketing, I personally see a big gap, and essentially that gap is that people tend to be very data-driven, but they are not very informed about their data. So let me explain that, right? So you may have a team member that's running advertising and they're data-driven because they're looking at the ad results and they're trying to optimize for those results, but they may not be looking at a big picture, which is being data-informed. Right? So the big picture is actually being able to stitch all of your data together and understand the holistic perspective before you make a decision. So maybe something that might be good is not necessarily good for the long term, and that's where the gap is. There's so many ways you can use data to optimize your revenue, right? At the end of the day, the simple answer is you need to understand your customer and understand your audience, and that can only happen if you have data, right? So you need to essentially look at the data, try and get the insights from it that allow you to understand who your audience is and who your customer is, and based on that, you can now reach out to an audience, make it more personalized, and when it's more personalized, it resonates more with your audience, and if it resonates more with your audience, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to buy from you, and that of course is going to lead to better conversion rates, which leads to more revenue at a lower cost. Basically, we work with a client in the US where we run advertising for them on a large scale, and for them we build a bunch of different landing pages. When we first started, we had a single landing page. We were running all the ad budget towards that one landing page. By the end of the day, what we told the client after running the campaign for a couple of months was that you're not getting the results because the kind of users that you're sending to this page are not all relevant to what's happening on the page, right? So when we started dissecting that, building specific landing pages with more personalized content that resonates with a different group of users, we straight away started seeing an uptick in the results that were coming through those pages, right? So overall, their conversion rates increased. Of course, in terms of management, our fees increased as well, since there were a lot more landing pages to contain for them. Short answer is you hire an agency like ours to audit your data, but in the long run, again, it stems from what your business objectives are, what your KPIs are, and once you have understood what they are and you know how to look for the information that helps you achieve those objectives, right? That's how you should align your audit. So at the end of the day, your audit is supposed to help you understand like, hey, this is the information that's going to help me reach my KPIs or help me understand my KPIs, and that in turn helps me reach my business objectives. In terms of specific, another KPI would be like engagement happening across your site, right? So at the end of the day, you want to be able to drive users, or you want to be able to tell your board that, hey, we are getting a lot more engagement on our site, but you're not able to do so just through basic data in terms of how many people visited the site, how much time they spend on it, because people can visit your site but then may not be taking the actions that you want. So when you have that data on top of it, or you understand the kind of users that are visiting your site, you can actually tell your board that, okay, even though we had 100,000 users and only like 20,000 of them stayed on the site, these 20,000 are considered extremely engaged because of so and so factors that we found from other data sources, right? So from that perspective, you would need to look at a lot of different data sources, and you wouldn't know that until you decided that, hey, we want to look at truly engaged users on our site. So in this case, that's not third-party data, it's data that's happening on your site, so it's first-party. And then on top of that, you need additional data like preference information, that'll be zero-party data. The first thing is obviously the quality of the people that have attended this event. The people that have been on the panel have been top-notch. They're all experts in the field, they have a lot of experience. So just hearing what they're doing in the space has been invaluable. That aspect is definitely the main reason for attending this event. The second reason is also just in general getting a vibe for what's happening in the space, right? So when a lot of people in the same industry come together, you usually get a lot more consensus in terms of general direction. So through the networking sessions, you're able to speak to a lot of different like brands as well as agencies as well as vendors, and get a better sense of where the industry is headed as a whole. So that again is something that's very valuable in terms of deciding for the business, like, hey, where should we head ourselves in the future?